Golf addicts, welcome to the Tour Junkies podcast for the 2021 Honda Classic Hangover Edition from the Players Championship. I'm DB. I got my co-host Pat Perry with me. We are brought to you and presented by none other than our friends at fantasynational.com, the place for golf stats, information, data, models, ownership projections, recent form, course history. Do all the models you want to do. fantasynational.com/TJ gets you 20% off any subscription option that you choose, whether weekly, monthly, or annually. You can get 20% off that. You can flip back and forth between plans, and you get to keep the 20% off when you go to fantasynational.com/TJ to sign up. And even, tell them you heard about it. You heard about it from the Tour Junkies. Fantasy National is where we've been going for the last 3 or 4 years now. It's your one-stop shop for PGA Tour, Korn Ferry Tour data, and it's all certified. The stamp of approval from the PGA Tour itself. They get all the data right there from the PGA Tour and ShotLink. Love me some Fantasy National, so go to fantasynational.com/TJ for that 20% off. Pat, how you feeling post the Players Championship, buddy?
Well, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm back in the wine cellar today, which might tell you that I feel like I need a little bit of a change because last week, as far as DFS was concerned, was not very good. But it was a fun week. I loved the tournament. The course was spectacular. JT coming through at the end. God, what a weekend of golf by JT, by the way. Good Lord. I mean, was he 12 under on the weekend? I mean, just incredible. So, I mean, it was a great tournament. You had your favorite person, Bryson DeChambeau, in the mix. You had Doug Ghim in the mix until just kind of fell apart on Sunday. But a guy that we've loved all year, the DFS community has loved some Doug Ghim, the Ghim Reaper. You had our boy Brian Harmon from my backyard here in Savannah that was up there in the up there at the end. Paul Casey, just a great tournament. So, and then all the water balls and carnage on Thursday and Friday. Really, Thursday. Thursday was just like it's the first day I can remember in a while where you were done before noon with a lot of your DFS lineups. It was over.
Yeah, I'll pick up where you left off. There were tons of carnage. Rory, Webb, Finau, Fleetwood, Hideki, Cantlay, Hatton, Hovland, and Xander all trunk slammed on Friday. If you're talking about DraftKings, 6 names at the $9,000 price tag and above, 6 out of the 12 completely missed the cut. And only, 3 out of the 12, 4 out of the 12 were finished in the top 25. Obviously Justin Thomas, your winner, being in that category. I think it was around 9,900. He was the chalk, right? He was the chalk because he was priced so good. He was just so juicy.
Yeah.
100. I was glad to see JT win it, man. It's been a tough year for him. You could see it all over him because Steve Sands just had to ask him all the hard questions. Hey, tell me about Tiger, and your grandpa dying, please. So, you could see it all over him. You knew it meant a lot to him to win it. And it was good to see him on top, and he freaking killed it on Sunday. Hit every green in regulation minus the 18th, and only missed that one by about the length of your pecker. So that's pretty good when it comes to ball striking, if you ask me. It was really fun to watch JT do his thing. There was a lot of other things that went down. First of all, I gotta give a shout out real quick before I forget, because I don't want to forget, to our Nut Hut Listener League winner, Eric Cole. Very familiar with Eric in the Nut Hut. At Cole he managed to win the Nut Hut for this week, and so now he gets a chance to go to the finals and potentially win a trip to Augusta or Savannah and play a really nice golf course, round of golf with me and you, have some food, have some drinks, have a good time sometime in the fall. In fact, Pat, I feel like we should mention this. I think the people need to know, this is going to come as a surprise to some folks, that this Friday, you and I will be hosting last year's winner, Marcus Griffin, who won the Nut Hut Listener League last year, the inaugural winner. We will be hosting him in Augusta, and also with him, just making the trip because he can, is Crazy Marcus Miklovich, who, if you're in the Nut Hut, you know who Crazy Marcus is. He's probably going to be in the YouTube chat here live pretty soon. I see Marcus Griffin is already in there. we're looking forward to hanging out with those boys. We're going to have them at Champions Retreat all day Friday. Be on the lookout on the Instagrams and, for some social content. Should be fun. We're going to get some sort of match together with these two guys. There's rumors that it's going to be a Lord and Savior Pat match, since you have all your worshipers in the Nut Hut still going strong. There's rumors that Crazy Marcus is going to be your teammate because he's kind of one of them. He administers the Lord and Savior Pat oath anytime someone new pops in that section of the chat. I may be paired with Marcus Griffin. So we'll easily put it on you and put all of your followers to total and utter shame if that happens. But we're going to have a great time. So be on the lookout for that. That could be you if you join the Nut Hut and, you get into the Listener League final. That could be you. And if you win once, you can keep winning and get more entries at the end of the year. So congrats to Eric Cole for making that happen. That's like a slightly bigger, it's like a slightly better deal to win the players than to win a chance to come play golf with me and you on Friday and then drink and go to dinner and tie one on. That's good. That's a great experience for a lot of people, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, there were a ton of storylines, Pat. Now, we did mention JT on the show. We talked about him. We talked about him being chalk. We talked about him on our betting show saying, listen, you hang a number on JT at 20-1, you make them pay. You make the books pay. On TJ After Dark, DraftKings, we talked about it. Somewhat incoherently, but we talked about it. We even said 18-1, 17-1. If it gets there, you still pull the trigger on a player like Justin Thomas, an elite player like Justin Thomas, on a big stage like that. You make the books pay, and it seems like a lot of you have made the books pay there. Saw a lot of Nut Hut winners that tailed that bet. A lot of people on Twitter hitting us up. Props to you. Now, unfortunately for our friend Ben Little, who writes the Chalk Bomb.
Not good.
If everyone knows, at TrueMav on Twitter, Ben Little, he is the third, somewhat in the shadows member of Tour Junkies. He writes the Chalk Bomb, and we let Ben pick the Chalk Bomb every week. We let him pick the Chalk Bomb every week. He does not consult us. In fact, we know who the Chalk Bomb is maybe minutes before you know who it is when you get the email. So he doesn't consult us. Some weeks we agree. Some weeks we disagree. Some weeks he makes us change our mind, and we end up fading the chalk. Some weeks he doesn't. But Ben Little, it's been a tough day. He is committed to coming on the show at some point, not tonight, but maybe next week, and taking a penalty ranch water shot because he gave you the winner as the Chalk Bomb. So that's that. It's only fair. It's the rules. We don't make the rules.
Hey, look. I mean, it happens. Full disclosure, I can't hate on Ben too much because in the Fantasy Golf Sommelier video, I had my Boone's Farm fade of the week, and I had JT. Mm-hmm. Now a lot of it was because of ownership, and obviously that was a mistake. But I got to own up to it. I got to own up to my mistake in the Boone's Farm fade. But let's make this about Ben and not about me. How about that? Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that. By the way, shout out Bryce Moore, who's in the chat on YouTube. Bryce has hit 3 straight outright bets in a row. He's building a new fence in his backyard. He just shared that with us. He's building a new fence thanks to Justin Thomas's 20-1 victory last week. So
is he gonna put he should put like a Golby on the fence? When you see like
our initials. He's gonna put our initials.
Well, that too. I mean, Golby might look a little better. Like our initials, people would be like, okay, whatever. But if he's like showing off his fence and they see a big old Golby in there, they'll be like, oh, what is that? That's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
He is. That could be a tough whittling job there. I do have to tease a couple things because we are going to talk about some of the other storylines from the Players Championship, but I'm going to save some of the Bryson stuff for the betting show. On the betting show, so not this show, but the betting show, Jeff Feinberg. Everybody knows Jeff Feinberg. Amazing quaff, Canadian, great takes, great golf bettor. He's going to be on the show, and apparently he and I are going to duke it out about this Bryson situation. So
can I at least interject in this conversation, or should I just not even talk?
Okay, no, you can really interject. We can't talk enough about Lee Westwood, who played great, who's got his fiance on the bag. You know what I was thinking the whole time watching this is just as he's strolling down, hitting a bad shot, and he's just grinning. He's laughing. He's like, he's joking around. 2 things. Number one, Lee is bodied up, Daddy. Like, Lee looks good. I'd way rather have Lee's body than Bryson's. Like, God, he's like built like
But
a
have you
He's
noticed this?
built.
Like,
He's stacked.
he is, but he still has a little bit of the beer belly. Like, there's a little bit of that in there. It's like, how do you carry that so well, Lee? Like, I want to have a little bit of that belly, but then carry it that well. Because if you look, it's there. I mean, it's there. It's not all six-pack right there.
It helps when your shoulders are like super wide and you've got the V going. It makes the gut look better, man. Lee's bodied up. Anyway, but what I was thinking even when he's hitting bad shots, like he's smiling, I'm thinking this is strokes gained home life right before our eyes. He's got the fiance on the bag. She's a cutie. She's not his wife yet, so they're still really, really, getting along and in love all the time.
She's been his fiance forever, though, it seems.
True.
Like.
But it's just home life right before your very freaking eyes. This is the same golf tournament Lee Westwood chose to go to a soccer match instead of at one point. Like he never cared about the players, but he's got his girl in the bag. Now listen, that does not work for everybody. It's just like the guy at your club that plays that wants to get his wife in the game, involved in the game, or get her playing golf because he wants to do it together. There's some people that want to do that. There's a lot of people that don't want to do that. Like, I can speak for Kevin Kisner right now. He wants no part of his wife, Brittany, carrying the bag for him during a golf tournament. But it works for Lee Westwood. So strokes gained home life, Lee. That was fun to watch. The Spieth, one of the things that came about with every shot recorded live or streamed live is we got to see Jordan Spieth hit into Rory Sabatini off the tee. Did you see that?
That was incredible. Man, that was awesome.
Incredible. Rory got pissed, and apparently Rory's also kind of a hound, which I don't know what would give that away other than the stupid shirts and the barbed wire wrist tattoo. But did you hear Colin Morikawa talking about how he was talking about Colin's girl or something? It was kind of weird.
Yeah, I couldn't really. It was sort of muffled a little bit, but I had it as loud as I could to my ear, trying to figure out what exactly he was saying. But the whole conversation was fantastic.
He said he'd FaceTimed his girlfriend or something, and Colin's like, "You have her number?" And he's like, "No." Like, what are we doing then? God, what a weird guy that is. But it was just so funny. Everybody's reaction when they're like, "Oh, who is that?" And they're like, "Oh no, it's Rory." And then somebody's like, "That's the worst guy out here you could hit into." All mic'd up, freaking love it. I wish I could know what happened after that. But I think one of the things that we have to talk about, Pat, because it was freaking legendary, is the man, the myth, the legend, and the lore of one Siwoo Kim grew larger this week at the Players Championship. If you don't know, I mean, how many more Siwoo stories do we have? We could be here all night. He's a great guy. We freaking love him. He's quickly becoming a top 3 favorite player for me on the tour. I will say this too about his performance. What, he finished T9? Here's the moral of the story. When Siwoo cares, Siwoo can play well. When Siwoo don't give then Siwoo does not play well. Okay? He cares about 2.7 mil and the Players Championship again. He didn't care about the last few weeks, and it showed. So just write that down, because he could look all out of sorts, but you get him on a big stage, a major championship or the Players or a WGC, and I just feel like Siwoo can turn it on and turn it off whenever he wants to. I'll make that note about his play. But the best thing,
I really want to go hang out with Siwoo. That's the only note that I'm taking.
Drinking with Siwoo would just be, if I could have a make-a-wish, that would be what my make-a-wish would be. I would go drinking with Siwoo. Okay. Here's the deal. On Thursday, Siwoo finds himself in a bunker. I'm scrolling Instagram. This is like late in Siwoo's round. I'm scrolling Instagram stories. On the Instagram story of one official Siwoo Kim account is a picture of a golf ball in a footprint in a bunker. And I'll bring up the picture here. This is just incredible stuff. And I'll just bring up the whole thing here. Here in the middle is the post. I'm reading it like Siwoo Kim wrote it. Someone didn't raking real golf tournament. You welcome. I make bogey. Hashtag be nice.
Be nice.
Tags the PGA Tour, because his golf ball is in a footprint and not raked. So a follower on Twitter, I screenshot it immediately, put it up on Twitter, and a follower, Banksy, you see him there top left at 5.5 hole, says, say the word and I'll figure out who that scumbag was. And I said, go. And Banksy got right on it. If you look bottom left, you can see the beginning of his work. He's starting to figure out the groups that went ahead.
Incredible work.
The holes they went off on. He's looking at shot link data. I especially love this one section where it says Woodland, Horschel, and Poltz, and then it says gentlemen. Like, there's no way they would do that. They're gentlemen. But then
immediately X them out.
But then, if you see on the big side of the screen here, if you're watching on YouTube on the right, he figures out that ShotLink recorded Graham McDowell in the very same bunker just before Siwoo and only about a foot off in terms of the ShotLink measurements from where Siwoo ended up. It could be none other than Graham McDowell. And Banksy, damning evidence. And at 5.5 hole, figured it out quickly. In fact, so quickly that by the time I went to post about it again, I noticed that Siwoo's Instagram story was now gone. And in fact, so I had screenshot it, luckily. So I put an Instagram story about it, like, okay, Siwoo, it was GMAC, let's go get him. Like, go, let's maybe you need to rough him up in the locker room. I don't know. Let's talk about this. And just as that happens, me and you get a text from a friend of ours at the PGA Tour that works very closely with folks at the PGA Tour. And that person says says that that was pretty funny of Siwoo, but it won't be as funny as the fine he's going to get. And I'm like, really? He's going to get fined for that? They say, absolutely. You are, for one, it is highly frowned upon as a player to take your phone out in the middle of a round, but even higher frowned upon to take a picture during play, throw someone under the bus, and tag the PGA Tour. Siwoo just freaking electric. So electric.
He does not give a fuck.
I just love him. He does not care. And I love the hashtag, be nice. And we try to start the hashtag, I make bogey, But damn it, if Siwoo just is not the most lovable guy on the PGA Tour, I freaking love it. And by the way, on Instagram, you can see who sees your stories. Siwoo Kim saw our story of the photo that Banksy did out in Graham McDowell. So he knows that it's Graham McDowell. So somewhere there's a Siwoo GMAC beef brewing, possibly, as the world turns. Very excited about it.
Yeah. Well,
fun to watch.
I thought it was interesting that he used the hashtag be nice. Like, you can be a mean person and still rake bunkers. Like, but
I make bogey, be nice. And I just can't imagine. I've been to enough PGA Tour events. Can you imagine if he did that at Augusta? The Masters would the Green Jackets of the Masters would lose their minds if he did that.
Oh my gosh. Maybe he'll do it.
But it's so ballsy. God, his balls are just his caddy had to rake the sand after him to get his balls. The mark that his balls left as they drug out of the bunker on his way to making bogey. God, I freaking love Siwoo Kim. He's just a man. Okay, let's get on to the course breakdown here. I think it's a great segue, Pat. Let's talk about the Honda Classic PGA National. It's a pretty garbage field, but you know what? We're here. This is what we do. We do it every week. Good field, great field, garbage field. We're here, and Pat's going to tell us about one of the toughest golf courses on the PGA Tour.
Yes. Do you ever notice when I'm about to do the course breakdown that you literally say 3 different things on my notes already before I even get to the breakdown? Like, you just why don't you just say go to the course breakdown? Here's Pat. But no, I'm going to say it's the hardest course on tour because Pat's going to say that. I know that.
I'll try that next week.
Anyway, all right. So we are at PGA National, which you mentioned. This is a par 70 playing 7,140 yards. We got 144 players this week in the field. T65 as usual, and ties will make the cut.
Oh, don't they have
greens? I was getting to that. Damn it! Can you just hush while I'm doing this? I know you did that on purpose anyway. Anyway, this is a very difficult course. It is typically one of the most difficult courses on tour. You have a lot of wind out here on this course. We're going to see that this week, even though the weather looks pretty good as far as sunshine. We are definitely going to get some wind. The rough is always typically very penal, and penal. And there's a lot of water hazards out here. As a matter of fact, 15 of the 18 holes have water in play. That is scary. So you got to be able to avoid bogeys like you did last week. It really very similar to last week. You cannot have a bunch of water balls, and you got to just kind of plod your way around this track. You can't be too aggressive. You got to make a lot of pars. You can't make a ton of bogeys. Definitely make birdies when you have the opportunity. We do have the bear trap, as you mentioned, holes 15 through 17. They play as one of the most difficult stretches on tour that these guys will face. You do have 2 par 5s that are reachable in 2, and definitely your best chance to score. So when you get to the par 5s this week, you got to score. And but again, like I said, this is a patient grinders course. It is a ball strikers course for sure. You have got to be good with your iron. Strokes gained approach is important. You got to be good scrambling if you do miss these greens. I did mention bogey avoidance. I think that is also key. And I think driving accuracy as well. I say that I look at like a stat on Fantasy National, like good drives gained, a stat where these guys are more consistent off the tee. Not necessarily hit the fairway, but the rough is, like I said, it can be tough to hit out of here, but just not getting yourself in trouble off the tee, just be consistent. You're going to give yourselves good looks into these greens as long as you just freaking hit fairways or barely miss them, but don't be wild off the tee here. That's important. I did look at par 4 scoring as well. Your past champ, Sung J M last year at 6 under. Keith Mitchell at 9 under in 2019, JT at 8 under in 2018, Ricky Fowler 12 under in 2017, and then Adam Scott was 9 under in 2016. So there you go.
Yeah, I think that winning score is probably going to look to be around the same. I think 10 under, 8 under, something like that. The weather's still looking a little blustery right now as we speak here on a Monday night. Could be windy again. And I think the course is going to be pretty dry. Already hearing some things from the course that's going to be running kind of quick. Fairways running fast. Not a lot of rain in that area so far, which is nice. I'd like to see the teeth of PGA National yet again another year. I think that'd be nice. The only thing I'll add, man, I liked it. I think one of the things that we don't look at every week, but I think this week's important, as you mentioned, was strokes gained around the green and kind of being able to get up and down because you are going to miss greens out here. And one of the things that I saw is 9 of the last 10 winners at this golf tournament have been in the top 6 in scrambling for the week. So, even the guys who are hitting it the best are still gonna have to get up and down here. And like you said, to save par, avoid the big number, avoid the bogeys. So I think that is going to be something I'm factoring in. I agree with you on the fairways. I'm looking at fairways gained on Fantasy National. I like the good drives gained that you're talking about. Strokes gained approach for sure. Am looking at bogey avoidance, which is also on Fantasy National. Kind of looked at that a couple different, kind of looked short term the last 12 rounds and also looked maybe last 50 just to kind of find the guys, like you said, the grinder types. That's what this is. This is a grinder type event. This event also holds a special place in my heart. One of my biggest weeks ever came when Keith Mitchell won this golf tournament. Hit him at 200-1 betting and finished first or second in the Mayo Cup and a couple other nice tournaments that week.
Did we also hit? Was that that wasn't Johnny Vegas first round leader?
Johnny Vegas first round leader that same week. Yep, that was a huge week for us. So the Honda holds a special place in my heart. So even though we're all dealing with the TPC hangover, I do want to give my full effort and attention into the Honda. All right, let's get into the picks. Before we do that, I have a chance for everyone listening to win 2 free months in the Nut Hut, okay? And that is by signing up with Monkey Knife Fight, one of our favorite new fantasy games, betting games. It's a lot of fun. If you've not heard of Monkey Knife Fight, I don't know what you've been doing. You've been living under a rock. But Monkey Knife Fight is everywhere. If you go to playmkf.com/nuthut and sign up as a new member to Monkey Knife Fight, make a deposit, and they'll give you a $50 deposit match. So if you deposit at least 50, they'll match up to 50, and then play in your first real money game. Okay, this is important because I got a lot of emails from people last week. All right, we've already got people doing this, taking advantage of the offer. Fantastic. We appreciate it. Thank you. But I did get a lot of emails from people last week. I'm trying to save you from that and me from that. Let me tell you how this works. So you sign up through the link, you make your cash deposit, you play in a real money game. Okay. Once you play in that first real money game, Monkey Knife Fight, within about a day or two, will notify us that you've done that. We will email you the link and all the sign up information to take advantage. And that link will help you sign into the Nut Hut, and you will get your first 2 months of the Nut Hut for free. Now, you will have to put in your card information because if you choose to stick around, it's going to renew. And you're going to pay your $10 a month. So there you go. So you get 2 months free as soon as we send you the email. So once you make your deposit, don't email me. Just play the game, wait a couple days, and then wait. And then I'll email you. If you haven't heard from me like 4 days after you play your first real money game, hit me up and we'll take care of it. info@tourjunkies.com. But to sign up, again, playmkf.com/nuthut. Come join the fun. The Nut Hut is a blast. It's bananas right now. And a lot of people are winning money and making friendships. You know what I mean? I mean, Marcus Griffin, who's coming down to Augusta to play because he won the Nut Hut Listener League, is, he's talking to his wife about his internet friend, Marcus Miklovich, Crazy Marcus, that he's going to get to play golf with. Let's all talk about our internet friends at some point. It could be fun. Pat, before we get into the picks, what's the podcast juice tonight, buddy? You got some beer?
Yeah, I got a little beer tonight. Actually, it's a local beer here in Savannah. It's by Southbound Brewing Company. It's called Mountain Jam. Isn't that cool? Isn't that a cool?
Looks very hippie-ish.
Yeah, a little Mountain Jam. It's good.
I'm drinking tequila, so this will be good. All right, let's get into the picks tonight. 9K and above range, 3 GPP plays, and a fade. Pat, I'm going to let you start tonight. I'm going to let you start this range here.
Well, I will start. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start with Daniel Berger at 10-8. I like him a lot this week. We've seen him win here before. He is, when you look at ball striking, he's 4th in the field. He is 11th in bogey avoidance, checks the box in strokes gained approach, good drives gained. All across the board, Daniel Berger, I think, is my favorite play for sure in this range. As a matter of fact, I almost faded this entire range in general. One of the things you see this week, just like we saw last week, is a lot of carnage, okay? And a lot of these higher price guys can just trunk slam like anybody else this week. And so I think that, you do have to be careful with just marrying yourself to a lot of these 9K and above guys. But I do like Berger. I think he's very safe, but also think he can easily win this tournament. So at 10-8, he is my favorite play here. And then I'm going to drop down to...
Wait a minute. What do you think about the rib injury?
I don't care. I really don't. I think if he's playing in the golf tournament...
He played all 4 rounds, but he did mention the ribs were bothering him. He mentioned that he was hoping to play this week and planned on it, but we'll see. I think Berger is a very interesting play. I think with the wind, with what he's doing with the ball right now, he's in total command of it. I love the play. I like paying up for him in this field. If there were one name I'd pay up for, it'd be him. So I agree with you there completely. The rib thing scares me a little bit. So
it does, but if anything, I just hope that it maybe the ownership goes down a little bit off of Berger, because I do think he'll probably be one of the highest owned guys here. But look, if he tees it up,
we'll see what the press conferences say. I'm sure
if he feels good, he tees it up, I think he'll be fine, but we'll see. He finished T10 at the Players, kind of a sneaky top 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm good with Berger.
Top 10s last week, I felt like.
There were.
Kind of snuck it. All right.
Yeah. And there was also some backdoor drop down out of the top 10 to 50th, like Chris Kirk.
Oh, that was front door slamming there, Chris Kirk. He went out front, said, "Hey, I'm freaking out."
Yeah, pretty bad. Anyway, I'll go down to Mr. Shane Lowry at 9,200. We saw him play well last week. Also had a top 10 finish. He is a guy that I think this is a perfect course for him. If you want a guy that's just a grinder that can, play well in the wind, that can just, is not just going to get all crazy by the tough conditions and things like that, but he's a great ball striker. He is 8th in the field in strokes gained around the green. He's 5th in par 4 scoring. He's 6th in greens in regulation. checks the box also off the tee as far as good drives gained. So I think Shane Lowry makes for a very good play here at 9,200. And then my last guy is, and this is one of those that just, I never know if I'm going to get it right, but Russell Henley at 9,800, I also like him as well. The ball striking, the strokes gained approach, number 1 in the field there, 21st in good drives gained. He is second par 4 scoring. I think that Russell Henley is just shapes up to be a great course for him. And he's played pretty well here in the past. He did miss the cut in 2019, but before that, he had 3 straight. Sorry, I'm looking to somebody else. Top 10 last year, T20 in 2019, top 25 in 2018, T43 in 2017. Good history here. So I like some Russell Henley in a weak field like this. I think he makes a lot of sense at 9,800.
Oh, I can't figure out what I want to do about Russell Henley. I think that's a very interesting.
I think he's going to be my one and done also. And I've done really well actually with my one and dones lately.
God, I don't, that is, hey, props to you. That's large avocados right there. I appreciate that.
Mm.
Who's
like those avocados? How about them avocados, baby?
Yeah. Who's your fade?
Who is my fade? Adam Scott, 10-1. Don't want any part of Adam Scott. Don't like I mean, his history is good here, but I don't like the form. I don't like anything else about Adam Scott. Not going to play him. Don't want any part of him. 64th in the field in ball striking, 84th in scrambling, 124th in good drives gained. I think you can't have Adam Scott with any confidence. I would have to be like pinned down and you grab my left hand that I write with and you would force me to press the button to put him in my lineup against my own will. That's how bad I do not want to put Adam Scott in there.
Okay. So my favorite play in this range is Adam Scott at what's he at? 10-1? Is that right? 10-1. And let me tell you why, Pat, because you're talking about you're giving me his ball striking numbers over the last 24 rounds. I get it. It doesn't look great. However, let me tell you why that's happening. He's 22nd in strokes gained approach. The iron play is still fantastic. Okay. He's actually scrambling really well right now. He's 10th in that category. He's also kind of putting okay right now. But his off the tee numbers aren't great because he's added a butt ton of distance. Adam Scott has added a ton of distance. He's been vocal about it. He's talked about it. If you look at his numbers, it's there. I think
so more distance for him to put it further into the water this week.
No, because here's where I'm going to spin it on you. He has so much experience at Honda, and as a former winner, he knows that this is not a place where the bombers keep bombing. Okay, this is a place where a lot of times these guys are going to club down. In fact, we've heard that already from caddy friends of ours. They're going to club down. He knows this place well enough to know I'm not going to be able to spray driver all over the yard. If you look at his history here at the Honda, he did miss the cut last year. That was the first missed cut he's had in 5-6 years. Before that, 13th, 14th, 1 in 2016, 12th in 2014, and missed the cut in 2011. So he's got 3 top 15s and a win in his last 5 attempts. He knows this golf course, and in every single one of those years, even the miscut year, he gained strokes off the tee. So he knows what to do off the tee. In every one of those years, except for last year, he gained strokes on approach. I think this is a spot to jump on Adam Scott because also, here's what's bananas. Look at his putting, Pat. Look at his putting. Look at how many events he's gained strokes putting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 events in a row, he's gained strokes putting. The 5th event, he didn't gain or lose any at the Sony. He was just dead even. He lost 3 at the Tournament of Champions. Then he gained again. Like all of a sudden, Adam Scott's kind of putting okay. And I think he's a world-class player in a very dog doo-doo field. And I think it plays. I think when you talk about win equity, which we do, I think he gives you as much as anybody in this entire field, even Daniel Berger, even a Sung J M. I think he gives you as much win equity as possible. So I love the Adam Scott play, and apparently the people think we need to have an Adam Scott punishment bet. So we don't have our
I
freaking
don't even
wheel.
want to try the stupid wheel again. The
We don't have our
was
wheel.
a disaster.
We need help with the wheel. We need help with the wheel. Where can I find? Okay, hold on. Let's see. So what's our bet? You think about, you tell me what our bet's going to be, and I'll tell you the punishment.
Adam Scott. Well, he's 10-1. So, and you made some good points there. I'll give you that. But I'm still not in on Adam Scott. I'm just not.
I think he's going to give me a top 15.
Yeah, I don't think he finishes top 15.
Okay. Then the top 15 it is.
No, we'll do 14.
No.
Yeah, 14. You said the original number 15. I want a little. I want one more place.
You like even numbers. I know you hate odd numbers, you OCD person. No, it's top 16. That means if I win, he finishes top 15 or better.
You just made it worse for me.
I know, because you like even numbers. If you liked odd numbers, it'd be top 15.
That's why I said 14.
No, that's terrible. Then he's going to finish
14.
top 15. That top 15 is a great round golf number. We don't talk about top 14s.
No, I would rather do 15 than 14.
Top 15s, top 20s, top 25s.
I'm not doing 4. I'm not doing 16.
Come on, man.
No, not at all.
Okay. All right, loser. All right, I'll agree. I'll mark it down that I'm succumbing to this right here. Okay. All right, but now I get to pick the punishment because it's likely going to be me. The loser has to the podcast juice for the loser, the entire show. You have to crack it open. You have to drink it. By the end of the show, it better be empty. Has to be either Colt 45 or Old English.
Oh gosh,
that's the bet. Okay.
All right, it does, but I'm not agreeing to what size it has to be. So if it's just going to be well, they probably only come in tall boys anyway. So.
Okay. I really do. I'm serious. I love Adam Scott here. I think there's a good. I dug into him because I'm like you, man. I don't want to. Producer Sam says it comes in a 22 ounce or a 40. Everyone. Okay. Everyone's saying 40. At 40, I will be sick.
I was searching for the possible 12 ouncer, but I mean, I immediately knew where I was wrong. I was like, there's no way it only comes in 12 ounces.
If it's how about this? If he finishes top 10 or better, you have to drink the 40. If he finishes top 30 or worse.
No. Let's just stay with where we are. Okay. I'm going with the 22 ouncer. Okay.
I get the uncomfortable vibe sometimes we get when we click on Adam Scott's name, but I really dug in and I really believe that this is a good spot to jump on him. And I think he's going to be possibly be a forgotten man up in this range too. So I'm
what if he's really chalky? Would you still go with Adam Scott if he turns out to look very chalky?
It depends, but I think so. All right, I'll make this quick. I love the Lowry play as well. I think everybody's gonna like the Lowry play. I think that's gonna be a chalky play. Is Shane Lowry? He lives like 5 minutes from this golf course now. Sneaky finish at the Players, good win player, good short game. I like Lowry here for sure. I'm gonna go back to the well with Chris Kirk at 9,000. He had one bad round. I looked at his round on Sunday at the Players. He had like 2 really, really awful holes, and these were tough holes. It was tough conditions. I'm going to give him a pass. As good as he's been playing, as solid as Chris Kirk has been, I'm giving him a pass. And I think this place sets up just as good for Chris Kirk's game, which is put it in the fairway. Put it in the fairway, hit fairways, hit greens. That's what you're going to need Chris Kirk to do. So
I don't mind that at all. I like it.
Yep, I like him at 9K. I'm going to get back on him. I'm hoping that people will avoid Chris Kirk and just see that last round and see that finish and run away. But I think he's going to bounce back. So that's Chris Kirk. That's the 9K range. My fade is I wrote down Daniel Berger because I'm a little worried about the ribs. I don't want to pay the price. Berger's got a history of withdrawing quickly after the event starts, by the way. You do know that.
Well, I mean, that was a WGC.
That was
a paycheck regardless of what happened after the first tee.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, let's move on to the 8K range. I'll make this quick as well. I'll start. I'm going to go with Brendan Steele at 8,700. I can't stop Brendan Steele. But you know what? Brendan Steele is making cuts. He's scoring a lot of DraftKings points. He plays really well in the wind. I think he's got a great record at the Honda, 4th place last year. He's missed one cut at this event. In 2, 4, 6, in 9 tries, he's missed one cut, and he's gotten much better since 2015. In 2015, he finished 11th, then 14th, then 14th in the missed cut, then 4th last year. And he's trending really nicely right now. I think Brendan Steele is a solid play, and as a PGA Tour winner and someone who's contended on Sundays, I think you get win equity out of him that I don't think you get in some of these guys in the 8K range either. And then I'm going to go with your boy. I'm going to steal it, and I'm not singing. I'm going with Wyndham Clark at 8K. And I tried not to go with Wyndham Clark at 8K. When I first started looking at it, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to pull the trigger on Wyndham Clark at 8K. But the more I looked at it, I'm thinking, you know what? He's putting really, really well. He's got a T7, a T11 here. He can definitely club down and hit plenty of fairways out here. He checks the box in windy play. He can play in the wind. And I think he's close. I think he's close to being in contention on a Sunday. And I think he gives you some upside. I'm going to go with Wyndham Clark, and I'm going to risk it for the biscuit at 8K. And my fade in this range, I tried to make kind of a bold call here because I think the easy play is definitely Ricky. But this is another player I've been talking about week after week, but now I think it's time to hop off the train. Let's hop off now is Keegan Bradley at 8,400. He checks all the boxes. He's been checking all the boxes. He really has. But here he does not. A lot of miscuts here. And I just think it's time. It's time. He let's see. He gained 3.7 strokes putting. This is something I thought was interesting. In the last 2 events, he's gained a total of 3.7 strokes putting on his worst surface. Do you know how often that happens with Keegan Bradley? I went back and looked. It happens about once a year that Keegan Bradley over the last 3 or 4 years gains 2 weeks in a row on Bermuda. It happens once a year. And I think it just happened, and I bet it's going to regress. And when it regresses, and you put him here on a golf course that he's never played well, probably because there's a lot of trouble. There's a lot of water. You mentioned there's a lot of bunkers. I think this is a spot to get off of Keegan. Let's jump off early. The price has shot up. Everybody's been playing him because he's been doing well. I think we hop off.
Okay, well, there is some disagreement here. And here's the thing about this tournament, by the way. This tournament is like where up is down, down is up, black is white, white is black. Everything is like, it's like opposite event. Like everything goes wrong in this event. If you remember, literally every year it seems like that something is going to go crazy and we don't know what's going to happen. So I do think you can take some risk and maybe play some guys that maybe you wouldn't normally play, or they're not checking all the boxes or things like that. So that's why I'm starting with Ricky Fowler at 8,900. I'm going to play him this week. I am going to play Ricky Fowler.
Son of a gun.
Getting back on a course that he's done well. Look, he hadn't been that terrible lately, okay? Hadn't been that terrible, all right? Now, look, I know that all
the irons have been pretty terrible.
That's fine. That's okay. Look, scrambling is really good. 3rd in the field there. His driving has been better. 33rd in the field and good drives gained.
Can you do a Ricky bet? Can we do a Ricky bet instead of a Scott?
No, we already did Adam Scott. So I waited on this one just for you.
Let's do 2 bet.
No, hang on. Let me finish. Damn it. He's putting well. He's 15th in the field putting on Bermuda over the last 24 rounds. I don't care what you say. I'm playing. Here's what I wrote. Let me show you what I wrote.
It doesn't matter what you wrote.
What does that say for Ricky?
I'm not going to be able to read it. I can't read that. It's blurry. Hold it still. Jeez. Nobody can read that. Literally, this is the worst. Okay, put that down. Put it down. Can't read it.
It says, yep, F y'all. I'm playing Ricky Fowler. That is what it says. I do not care if you hate it. I don't care what you say. I'm going to play some Ricky Fowler this week because I want to, and because maybe I'll just get out ahead of all the people that aren't going to play him. So, and he's going to be low owned. We know that. So there you go. There's not a whole lot of reasoning there. And I'm also going to play Keegan Bradley. So I was kind of surprised. I thought you actually might be on him.
I
but
know.
like you said, he is second.
Early. I think we got to jump off early.
I think the only good point you made was that there is a lot of water and bunkers on this course, and he's probably there's a chance he could find himself in there, but maybe he has a good week. He's not in there. And I think, look, the guy's number one in the field in ball striking. He's second in the field in approach. So, and you look at off the tee, very good there for the most part. As far as good drives gained, he is fourth in the field there. So I think this is a good week for Keegan. I mean, look, you mentioned this being a weak field. You called it a poop field or whatever you said. And so it's, he's still one of the best players, and he's been in good form. I like him, so I will play him. And my fade is Wyndham Clark. I'm fading Wyndham Clark.
What is going on?
I just told you before I even started this range, up is down. Down is up. White is black. Black is white. Everything has changed.
So one of us is going to have a good week, and the other is going to have an awful week.
Not playing Wyndham Clark. I think you're falling for a trap there, and especially at 8,000. Wyndham Clark should not be at 8,000. I love Wyndham Clark.
Priced up. Everybody's priced up.
I know they are, but Wyndham, what has he done even lately for that? The only thing he's probably showing is that he's got a decent history here. Other than that,
he's got a great history here. He's putting. He always putts the lights out.
He was a 54-hole leader a few years ago. I get all that, but he's not good right now.
I cannot believe you sang a song about the man just 2 weeks ago. Is it that quick for you? You're just one and done? You just hit him and quit him like that?
No, I'm not. I'm quitting him for 1 week.
Dang.
Or 2 weeks. I didn't play him last week either.
That's insane. All right, I'm going to let you start the 7K. Hopefully we'll have better luck with the 7K range here.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with our boy JT Poston at 7,900. I like him this week. Now, if you look at the stats and your models and all that kind of stuff, he's not going to show up a ton there. But look, the guy does have a very good course history here. He is in good form with a T22 last week where he just made the cut on the number, but then played very well. He's got 3 top 25s in his last 5 starts here. He is a very good putter on Bermuda grass, and we've seen him putting extremely well lately. So I think that continues this week for JT Poston, and I like him there at 7,900. And then you got to take Michael Thompson. How can you not play Michael Thompson this week at 70?
No way. I literally thought to myself, David, you've written down Michael Thompson, and that will be a name that everyone will be shocked to hear. Pat will be like, "Oh, nice, Michael Thompson." Pat is gonna look at you and go, "Hey, DB, I like that call. That's we don't hear that name very often." I wrote it down. Me and you both are on Michael Thompson. That's what this show's banana land.
Well, that's what you get for the Honda Classic, but you got to play Michael Thompson Honda Classic week. I mean, you got to. Okay, and the guy's just a steady, consistent grinder type player on a tough course. He does well. He never gets himself into too much trouble. It's not very long, obviously, and he does there are very few courses where you can see a guy like Michael Thompson playing well. This is one of them. Okay,
yeah.
So I like him a lot at 7,500, and then I'm going to go back on my boy Johnny. What you got? You got something there?
He loves Bermuda. He loves the wind. All that.
Well, and then I'm going to go with my boy Johnny Vegas at 7,300. I like him this week. I was on him last week as far as I think I bet him first round leader, but we've seen him play well recently. I think this is a good course for him. We talked about how he did hit first round leader a couple years ago for us. But Vegas is another guy that just, I think he's a plotter. He's a good ball striker. He's 20th in the field in ball striking, 35th in good drives gains, checks the box in par 4 scoring, and greens and regulation. So I like Johnny Vegas there, and my fade is going to be your buddy Luke List at 7,500. I just don't. Nothing about Luke List excites me at all. I know everybody loves to play some Luke List.
He's handsome. Hits it a long way.
Yeah, all of that's no good here. I'm not on Luke List at 75.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down with that. I can get down with that. I guess, man, you really stole my Michael Thompson thunder. Never thought I'd have that issue, but okay. All right, so I will not say Michael Thompson. I'll start up top with, I think, he's probably going to be a little chalky. But I'm gonna go with Kevin Streelman. I do like the JT Poston call, by the way, but I'm gonna ride Kevin Streelman. Just the consistency, the fairways and greens that we find with Streels. He makes a lot of cuts here. Doesn't really do much with it, or hasn't really done much with it. But I feel like he's playing a little better right now in 2021 than maybe he has been. So I think Streelman's interesting. I'm gonna go back to a guy who kind of disappointed. I think I played him at the Arnold Palmer where he missed the cut. I didn't play him last week where he finished T55. But I think this place sets up very nicely for one Australian named Matt Jones, whose wife is pretty smoking hot, by the way. Best putting surface by far is Bermuda. Definitely gained strokes in the wind per Fantasy National, coming off top 10 a few weeks ago at the Genesis. He's making a lot of cuts. 11th at the Sony, which is a coastal kind of fairways and greens and wind kind of event. 4th at the Bermuda in November, fairways and greens and wind event kind of thing. 14th at Corrales at Punta Cana. You know what I'm saying? Kind of the same thing. When you look at him over the Honda, he's played here a bunch. He's missed 2 cuts. He's made 5 with a 4th place finish back in 2008, which was a long time ago. But I think when you look at his skill set, I think it checks a lot of boxes here. He hits a lot of fairways. I think Matt Jones is an interesting pivot off of maybe some popular names down here. And then finally, I think I'm going to go back to another guy who was looked at last week for the Players and missed the cut. I avoided him, but it's the ball striking boy from South Kakalaki, Matthew Naismith at 7,300. I'm going to jump on some Naismith. Played here for the first time last year, finished T38. Naismith's checking a lot of boxes. Obviously, checks a box in ball striking, which he didn't do very well at the Players last week. He lost strokes ball striking. That just doesn't happen very often. And in his very short career, when he does lose strokes ball striking, the very next week, he comes back pretty solid if you look historically. So, I mean, we saw him on a really great run to start the season with the 20th at the Genesis, 16th at the Pebble, 7th at the Waste Management. I think it's a nice spot for Matt Naismith in a weak field to take advantage of that ball striking. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Matt Naismith there. And I do love Michael Thompson. Damn you. My fade is going to be Alex Noren. I will always look for a reason to fade Alex Noren. The water and bunkers scare me to death. Listen to these numbers. If you got some slappy telling you to play Alex Noren, then they're just dumb luck guessing. It's the same reason that Pat wants to play Ricky Fowler, because there is nada that would tell you to play him statistically. In the last 50 rounds, he's 137th in fairways gained, which means he ain't good at hitting the fairway. He's not historically been good at hitting the fairway. He's also 70th in bogey avoidance over the last 50 rounds. Over the last 12 rounds, he's 66th. And over the last 24 rounds, he's 99th in strokes gained approach. Alex Noren sucks. So there you go. And meanwhile, Pat and producer Sam are actively finding pictures of Matt Jones' wife, former Miss Idaho. Yes.
Yeah, no one really cares about Alex Noren right now.
All right, let's hit the 6K and button this bad boy up. Pat, I like a couple names here. Oh, by the way, we should mention this. There's a couple of COVID. Gary Woodland and Scott Piercy both had to withdraw due to COVID. And our boy AC mentioned in the Nut Hut that on Sunday, Scott Piercy played with KH Lee, and on Saturday, he played with Cameron Percy in the 6K range. So something to take note of. I mean, these guys got to all get tested, and if they don't have a negative test before Thursday, they're not going to play. But just something to think about. The old COVID, the old Rona. How close did they get? You know what I mean? All right, 6K range. I'll tell you who I like. I'll make this pretty quick. And I don't love this range. I don't see myself constructing a lot of lineups that require me to get down here. My favorite play by far is the one guy in here with an AARP card, and that is Jim Furyk at 6,900. Holy hell, ball striking crap. Is he hitting fairways, gaining strokes on approach, avoiding bogeys, getting up and down, Give me all the Jim Furyk's. Also, he's got some good finishes here at the Honda. Plenty of experience. Love it. He probably, love Jim Furyk here. He's my favorite play. I'm going to probably look at John Huh a little bit at 6,900 right there. Maybe a pivot off of Jim Furyk. He's checking some boxes, hitting some fairways. Got a little bit of form. Got a little bit of history here. Irons are okay. I'm probably gonna look at John Huh. Okay. Whereas Pat Mayo would say, John Huh. And then finally, I'm gonna go back to a guy who I thought would be a really nice 6K steal last week, and he missed the cut, but I think he missed it on the number. And that's Bo Hogue at $6,600. Bo Hogue still doing his thing. Okay. Checks the box. If you look on Fantasy National, gain strokes in the wind. Actually, what's crazy is on Fantasy National, they have him losing strokes in calm or moderate weather, but turn the fan on and Bo Hogue shows up. He's gaining over 3 strokes in the wind. So he wants it to blow. And he missed the cut of the players. The ball striking was there, but he lost nearly 3 strokes putting in 2 rounds. That's not great. That's probably, and again, missed the cut by 1. But he's had some decent finishes. Doesn't have a great record here, but decent finishes here recently. So I think Bo Hogue is an interesting play down there in the real cheap. But Furyk and Huh for me are where it's at. What you got? I'm not looking. But Furyk card? Furyk? 6,900 DB. I don't understand.
Furyk, Huh, Hogue.
That's who. Oh, I see it.
I'll button us up. That's it. Those were my 6K plays.
Holy moly! We do have to tell the people though, because we do have to tell the people that are trying to quit something. Like Ben, who writes the chalk bomb, who got the chalk bomb dreadfully wrong this week and ended up picking
dreadfully is a good word. Dreadfully wrong.
Dreadfully got it wrong. He's trying to.
People are all kinds of mad though. They get so mad. They get so mad at Ben. Like they get so mad where they need to start a bad habit that then they need to change their ways with that bad habit.
Yes, and maybe your bad habit is you like, damn it, Ben, and your chalk bombing mess. I'm gonna start smoking a cigarette. Well, you don't need to do that, man. You don't need to smoke a cigarette. Our friends at Lucy Nicotine, founded by Caltech scientists and former smokers, are looking for a better and cleaner nicotine alternative, and finally they found tobacco alternatives that don't suck. They've created a nicotine gum with 4 milligrams of nicotine that comes in 3 flavors: wintergreen, cinnamon, and pomegranate, and each and every flavor tastes delicious. Okay, again, Ben could really benefit. I think we've already sent him some Lucy nicotine gum. He and any of you who maybe fell victim to Ben's chalk bomb email and Justin Thomas, and you need a pop of that juicy Lucy nicotine gum, then we will gladly hook you up as well, maybe. So it's 2021. Get rid of your cigarettes, unplug the vape, throw out the dip, and get some Lucy nicotine gum or lozenges. Okay, lozenges. This is the real deal, all right? A subscription to Lucy comes directly to your door every month. It's simple. You don't have to leave your house. They got the delivery down. Okay, Tour Junkies listeners, go to lucy.co and use promo code Tour Junkies to get 20% off all products on your first order, including the gum and the lozenges. Okay, that's lucy.co and use promo code Tour Junkies at checkout. Also, I have to give you this disclaimer. Warning. This product contains nicotine derived from tobacco. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. So go to lucy.co and be sure and use promo code Tour Junkies. All right. That's a wrap on the DraftKings show. We've got the betting show. If you've not listened to that, you need to go listen to that. It's about to start up live on YouTube. Be sure and join that because Jeff Feinberg's joining us. That is going to be fun. He's going to give us his thoughts on the betting market, and probably me and him are going to go at it about Bryson. Pat's going to pick a side. He's probably going to pick Jeff's side just because he wants to.
No, I'm going to play like moderator, and then I'm going to try to like get each of y'all going.
Oh, good. This should be fun. So join the betting show. Check it out. Be sure and click the thumbs up there on YouTube if you haven't already. Please leave us a comment. What do you think? Can you believe Pat's gonna fade Wyndham Clark after writing a song about him 2 weeks ago? Leave a comment. Who's gonna win the Adam Scott bet? DB or Pat? Tell me what side you're on with the Adam Scott bet. Subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff, and check out the betting show. Thank you very much. May your screens be green. See ya.
Oh!